as we're going to discuss soon, the American economy is tanking, and it's all for one reason. I'll give you three guesses. No, I'll give you one, but we're going to get to that. I think you're pretty clear about what is going on and who's to blame. But that's just in this moment. There are a lot of other people to blame, of course. We see a lot of heads of corporations getting a little nervous about what's happening with the tariffs and uh, the retaliatory tariffs being placed on our products. And I have to be honest with you, it's kind of nice for a change because this happens so rarely in human history that the corporate overlords and the tech bro oligarchs are also going to start finding out. You know why? Because in the not too distant future, nobody is going to be able to afford anything they're selling. And they might actually want all of that money back that they used to bribe Donald Trump. Let's dive in. Good evening and welcome to this evening's episode of Mary Trump Live. It is wonderful to be here with you. It's going to be quite a night. This evening at 9 o'clock Eastern, which is very convenient time for most of us, Donald is going to be delivering a speech to a joint session of Congress, marking his first major address since returning to the Oval Office. Haven't we missed him? No, we have not. He's expected to tout his self-proclaimed unprecedented achievements. You know why? Because nobody else will tout them. And he's so good at it. He's also going to push for increased funding for his aggressive immigration crackdown. In other words, he's going to ask for more funding to be even more cruel to vulnerable people. Democrats, well, I have a bit to say about this in a second, have invited fired federal workers and individuals affected by Donald's policies as guests. Some lawmakers are boycotting the speech, while nationwide protests against the Trump regime are unfolding across. I'm having a trouble with prepositions this evening. Across all 50 states, here is what to expect.
The overarching theme, we're told, of this address is going to be the renewal of the American dream. First of all, they say he's going to talk about what he's accomplished so far in just over a month of his second term as president. He'll talk about what he's doing for the economy, they say, and what he wants to do on border security and when it comes to his plans for peace in Ukraine. The economy will be a tricky one for him because some economic metrics that he likes to tout in particular have actually deteriorated a little bit over the past month and a half. Just yesterday, for example, when he announced his tariffs on Canada and Mexico, which will be going into effect, which actually are already in effect at this hour, went into effect at midnight, the Dow tumbled 650 points.
Well, you know, I can't disagree. He has accomplished quite a lot, and it's been 42 days. Feels longer. He has almost completely destroyed the Western Alliance. He has taken a chainsaw. Oh, sorry. Did he borrow it? Did he ask permission to borrow from Elon Musk? Anyway, he's been hacking away at the world order as we've known it since World War II. And yeah, why might he have a little trouble touting the economy tonight? Because he's destroying it. So it's going to be, well, fascinating may be the wrong word, but I think it's going to be worth joining us. The nerds will be live commenting, or we'll pregame it, and then watch it together and then comment afterwards if we're still conscious. Anyway, as for the Democrats, guys, it's time to get organized. Some of you are doing this, some of you are doing that. Yes, you know what's really going to make an impact on Donald? Inviting people. Ooh. I also heard that they're going to be color coded. Some people are wearing pink for some reason. Some people are wearing black, I guess, because we're mourning. And some people are wearing the colors of the Ukrainian flag. Okay. I don't think that's what we're looking for either. You have two choices. And it has to be 100%. Come on, Hakeem Jeffries. Please. I'm being really serious right now. There are two choices here. Either nobody goes or everybody goes. And as soon as that fucking traitor stands up to speak, the Democrats stand up as one and turn their backs on him. That's it. Sick of these games that the Democrats seem to continue to keep playing. Well, let's continue to talk about the market crashes because that's what's happening. Today, as you know, at midnight, Donald imposed a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canadian imports with a 10% tariff on Canadian energy. And as a New Yorker, I have that this is not good news. Our former trade partners are fighting back as they should, and good for them. Mexico announced that it would reveal targeted tariffs on March 9th. And Mexico's been planning this. President Sheinbaum has been planning this since January because she knew this was coming. And China has imposed up to 15% tariffs on U.S. farm exports while restricting American companies. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is really stepping up, and he fired back. Let's take a look.
Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Donald has started a trade war, one that was completely unprovoked and one that will end well for nobody. So, of course, Canada has to do this. Also, later, Justin Trudeau referred to Donald as Donald, which made my day because I've been telling people to do that for years. Anyway, this was Donald's response because apparently he fancies himself a Borscht Belt comic and keeps sticking to the same shtick. Quote, please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. Well, you know, I know this is hard for you, but you did go to kindergarten. You should probably still be in kindergarten because you didn't learn very much. You started it. What do you expect? That Canadians and Mexicans and the Chinese are just going to be like, oh, well, you know, I guess we need to just suck it up because Donald said so. Of course not. But this is what happens when you are an economic enumerate and get an idea in your head and then cannot ever admit that you were wrong and course correct. Yale University estimates that these tariffs amount to a $1.4 to $1.5 trillion tax hike over a decade. That is a lot of money, which will disproportionately affect low-income Americans, which is probably the point. Economists warn of rising inflation and economic instability. China has already barred 10 U.S. firms from import-export activities, adding 15 U.S. companies, including major defense contractors, to its export control list. And they launched an anti-dumping investigation into U.S. fiber optic products. Take a look.
We are seeing a huge...
China now saying that they will look to impose tariffs on some U.S. goods as well.
Yes, again, going exactly by the playbook like clockwork. At 1 p.m., seconds after that, China released its slew of countermeasures, pretty extensive this time round compared to the previous round in February. They're targeting up to 15% tariffs on a list of U.S. goods. I'm just going to go through them very quickly. 10% on pork, beef, soybean, sorghum, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. The one on soybean, of course, had been highly anticipated. And 15% 15% tariffs on wheat, cotton, chicken, and corn. So all of these are agricultural commodities.
Well, as expected, the economic fallout of Donald's tariffs continued today. Investors are finally realizing that tariffs weren't just a negotiation tactic. Pete, stop giving him the benefit of the doubt, people, please. I will never understand why people actually think that Donald knows what he's doing here. I mean, it just makes perfect sense that he would do something so epically stupid, given his track record. But the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta now projects a 2.8% contraction in the gross domestic product, fueling concerns that Donald's policies could push the U.S. into a recession. That is where we're heading. And then there's the stock market. Let's play the clip.
We are seeing a huge reaction on Wall Street to the tariffs Trump just levied on Canada, China, and Mexico. Stocks continue to fall today with fears of higher prices and escalating tensions prompting massive sell-offs. The S&P 500 is now down 2% for 2025, and the NASDAQ Composite Index is in correction territory.
Okay, the Dow continued to drop today, falling 800 points before recovering slightly and ending with a 300-point loss. The S&P 500 fell below its 125-day moving average. That's bad. And the VIX, which is Wall Street's fear gauge, not something you want to hear coming out of Wall Street, hit its highest level of the year. I'm telling you, I am feeling 2008 deja vu, and I don't like it. Not surprisingly, investors are not taking it well.
Tariffs have been a black cloud over this market. Tariffs are never a good thing for stocks. I believe ultimately it's a negotiation tool, but the street is digesting to this. And I think it's something where, the Trump White House continues to go down this path, and it's something that sent white knuckles across Wall Street. We're in the biggest tech transformation probably in the last 50 years with AI. But very related to that is chips. And part of chips it comes from China, Taiwan. So when you start to get tariffs like this, retaliatory, I think the street continues to be worried that this could dent growth stocks, dent the AI revolution. That's been a huge foundation of this bull market. I believe it's all part of high stakes poker. It's the only way that in his view that you could get these countries to the negotiation table. But with that said, it's pain in the near term. And that's what you're seeing in the stock market, especially with growth and especially tech stocks related to China.
High stakes poker? Again, please stop giving this guy any credit for having any plan, any tactics, any strategies. Also, fear gauge, black cloud, white knuckling. These are not phrases I want to be hearing about anything. Analysts warn that Donald's trade policies could trigger a global economic. Why are we couching this in euphemisms? Of course, or not saying with absolute certainty that there will be a global economic downturn. Of course, it will be. The International Chamber of Commerce is comparing the situation. Something else you don't want to hear to the Great Depression era trade wars. Economists warned tariffs could exacerbate inflation, stall economic growth, and increase layoffs, which are pretty much things that are all already happening. And of course, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick disagrees with all of that.
I mean, how much pain are we going to be willing to take in inflation if all of a sudden they hit us right back?
Remember, so you made one comment. So inflation comes from a government printing more money. Some prices can rise. This bottle of water.
It can't happen at all.
No, tariffs do not create inflation. Printing money creates inflation. You have a balanced budget, there can't be inflation. It doesn't mean one product could be more expensive and one product could be less expensive. So this concept is just people whining and complaining and not being truthful. The fact is, we need to protect America. Why does China tariff everything and we give them a free ride back here? And they subsidize the opioid production. They subsidize opioid production.
Okay, obviously that idiot really wants to keep his job. Wow. I would say that it must just be so unbearably painful to walk around being that stupid. But he's so stupid, he doesn't know how stupid he is. He knows nothing at all. So tariffs cause the opioid crisis. The Sacklers would like a word. We're lying. People are lying. They're complaining. They're whining because, eating's expensive now and they can't afford it. Oh, what a shame. Suck it up. We do not have people in a position of power to explain to the American people what's actually happening. Instead, they're getting that, whatever that was. Also, that's the guy who was standing next to Donald while Donald was selling his shitty merch in the Oval Office, which, bonus, nobody's going to be able to afford anymore, and saying, oh, whatever the president wants, the president gets. I didn't realize that there was officially a who can be the most sycophanty of the sycophants. He's winning. Congratulations. So look, no matter what that, I don't know what the word is for him. Delusional psycho, perhaps? Is that too gentle? Probably. The writing's on the wall. The pro-business U.S. Chamber of Commerce, those liberals over at the Chamber of Commerce, is calling on Donald to end the tariffs, warning that they'll increase consumer costs, hurt small businesses, and deepen economic pain nationwide. And here, allow me a moment of schadenfreude, is the CEO of Target, a big box store we hate, Brian Cornell, to explain how quickly prices could go up.
We know for certain categories, like fruits and vegetables, where during this winter season, we depend on Mexico for a significant amount of supply. Those are categories where we'll try to protect pricing, but the consumer will likely see price increases over the next couple of days.
Over the next couple of days, so those go
are
in
really
instantaneously?
Short supply chains. You think about all the fresh produce.
Yeah.
We depend on Mexico during the winter. We're going to try to make sure we can do everything we can to protect pricing. But if there's a 25% tariff, those prices will go up.
For things like what? Strawberries, avocados, bananas? What are we talking about?
You've got that list right.
Is that so?
Those are some of the key items.
And those prices could change within days in the stores?
Could change certainly over the next week.
Well, the list is actually much longer than that. But also remember, this is on top of the fact that because of Donald's draconian approach to immigration and undocumented workers, we don't have any people to pick the food we grow. So that'll be interesting. These tariffs won't just affect retail. They're said to have a significant impact on gas prices. Another big issue during the election. According to Reuters, Canadian refiner Irving Oil, the top supplier of refined fuels in the Northeast, increased prices on fuel products today in order to reflect the tariff costs. See? It's like a domino effect or something. Not only is Donald ruining the economy, he's laying waste, and this makes me want to scream, to the national forest as well. According to The Guardian, Donald signed an executive order yesterday. Just, before we get too crazy, or let me rephrase, before I get too crazy about this, it's an executive order. Executive orders do not necessarily have any power, but sometimes they do. But this one's a bit sweeping in its implications. The executive order he signed allows logging across 280 million acres of national forests and public lands which bypass environmental protections in a move critics say hands federal lands to the timber industry, which might explain in part why he's maybe not so worried about the fact that the timber we get from Canada will be unaffordable. The order directs agencies to use emergency powers, there you go, to ignore Endangered Species Act protections. By the way, just want to flag this for you. Be ready to hear a lot about states of emergency tonight, because that gives him a wide berth to wreak all sorts of havoc and destruction that, unbelievably enough, he hasn't done yet. So yes, they will be threatening the habitats of grizzly bears, spotted owls, and wild salmon, and setting a precedent for further environmental rollbacks, which is just what we need. I just keep thinking about all the blood on these people's hands and how much more of it there's going to be. Donald, of course, claims that expanding logging will reduce wildfire risks, but guess what? He's wrong because he doesn't know anything. Scientists argue the opposite, warning that logging dries out forests and accelerates fire spread, endangering communities rather than protecting them. And, let's leave aside, of course, how necessary forests are for us and how depleting them worsens the climate catastrophe we're facing. Worsens it accelerates it. So this is all a bad idea from beginning to end, but, Donald came up with it, so that tracks. Reuters reports that the United States and Ukraine are now moving forward with a minerals deal, sources say. I am not hopeful about this, but Donald reportedly wants to announce the deal during tonight's address to Congress. The agreement, which stalled after Donald advances intolerably rude behavior towards President Volodymyr Zelensky. I mean, not just rude, that's not strong enough a term. It was catastrophic on so many levels that it is shocking to me that President Zelensky, well, you know what? There's so much at stake. He knows what he has to do, but it's still shocking. And I'm deeply sorry to the Ukrainian people for what these vicious, vicious thugs are putting them through. So in the deal, Zelensky would grant the United States access to revenues from Ukraine's natural resources for what exactly remains to be seen, while Ukraine would contribute 50% of future monetization to state-owned resources to a U.S.-Ukraine reconstruction fund. The shift comes after U.S. officials pressured Kyiv to convince Zelensky to apologize. Yes, I apologize that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance treated me so horribly and with such appalling disrespect. I am so sorry that you American people were so ignorant and so cruel and so short-sighted as to give those two miscreants any power at all. Yeah, that's the fucking apology. Zelensky, who clearly is a better person than I, hinted Tuesday that he was willing to move in that direction, calling the Oval Office meeting regrettable. That's a word. And saying Ukraine was ready to negotiate. The deal, however, and this is the kicker, does not include security guarantees for Ukraine, which raises concerns about whether Zelensky is signing under duress. Well, I don't think those concerns are merely concerns. I think that's probably exactly what's happening. The question is, what will come of this? What exactly, for what is exactly, is Ukraine signing away their resources? Yeah, it's a protection racket. That isn't going to help. Meanwhile, European nations have proposed peacekeeping troops, but Russia has rejected the idea outright. Have they? Well, in a sane world, Russia wouldn't have anything to say one way or the other about this because Russia is the aggressor. And up until recently, most of the world stood with Ukraine. Not anymore. Today, the Guardian reported that French President Emmanuel Macron is pushing discussions with European allies about France's nuclear deterrence following Donald's threats to pull the U.S. out of NATO and cease U.S. military aid to Ukraine. Unlike other NATO members, France maintains full control over its nuclear arsenal and does not participate in NATO's nuclear sharing program. Though Macron has previously hinted at European security, at a European security dimension. Play the clip.
President Emmanuel Macron has pushed for a swift action by the European Union toward a common defense and for France to extend its nuclear deterrence to other European countries. The proposal is not about sharing French nuclear weapons with other countries, but rather about extending France's deterrence to the entire European territory. And according to some, this is a sovereign decision for the head of the state alone.
With Donald pressuring European nations to take on more defense responsibilities, Germany's new chancellor, Friedrich Merz, has proposed discussions on nuclear sharing with France, adding to the urgency of Macron's proposal. France ranks fourth globally with an estimated 290 nuclear warheads behind the US, Russia, and China. Its deterrence policy relies on ambiguity, ensuring adversaries cannot predict when nuclear force might be used. Yeah, that's where we are. The NATO and our former European allies are planning a future in which they know for a fact that the United States of America is no longer with them. And this is what it's come to. So look for the European Union and NATO and other countries in the European Union to find ways to increase their ability to coordinate and to pool their resources, because alone that is going to be a very difficult road. It is not just Ukraine we need to worry about, of course, because if Ukraine falls, what is to stop Putin from encroaching further into Europe? Poland would be next. And then what? I kind of don't want to think about it, but that is a potential future that we're facing. Last week, Donald's Department of Education launched an End DEI portal. Sounds fun. This allows the public to file complaints about diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in publicly funded K-12 schools, which, of course, is an escalation of the Trump regime's assault on DEI programs nationwide. Critics, including Democratic lawmakers, civil rights groups, educators, and anybody with, basic human decency, have denounced the snitch groups and the snitch portal, likening it to authoritarian surveillance programs and a chapter out of 1984, and warning that it will sow division and fear in schools. The Department of Education has stated, again, now being led by the WWE woman, Linda McMahon, has stated that reports submitted through the portal will be used to identify schools for federal investigation. Wow, how dare you talk about Black or gay people? Raising fears of targeted political retribution rather than genuine civil rights enforcement. Yes, you think so? Yeah, I think that's a reasonable fear. In partnership with Moms for Liberty, those women who hate children so much that they don't want them to be able to read anything other than the Bible. The Trump regime has launched enddei.ed.gov, allowing users to report schools for so-called divisive ideologies, like talking about what a horrifically racist country we are, and the fact that not very long ago, we enslaved an entire group of people for life and in perpetuity simply because they had Black skin. The far-right group, designated an extremist hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, has promoted book bans, censorship of race and LGBTQ plus education, and previously used a Hitler quote in a newsletter. Get your own material, guys. I'm sure you could come up with something. Critics argue their involvement exposes the portal's real intent to target marginalized communities. The initiative quickly backfired as activists and social media users flooded it with spam, such as the B-movie script. Interesting choice. Like, really? Why? Fake Elon Musk DEI complaints, fundraising emails from the Democratic Party, and joke DEI claims like this one. Subject: golf handicaps are a DEI plot. We need to ban golf handicaps in our great country ASAP. This is nothing more than DEI for bad golfers. Well, we can't do that because then what would Donald do? He'd have to cheat more. Actually, he cheats a lot, so he probably doesn't need a handicap. I'm sure he tells people he's a scratch golfer. Do not ask me why I know what that means, but apparently I do. While claiming to fight discrimination, Donald's education department has paused thousands of racial discrimination and sexual assault cases, delaying justice for students. I want to get, well, obviously I just was serious. I want to get more serious for a second because this is really important. Please, please, do not spam the following email address. It's DEIA truth@opm.gov. Don't do it. Don't send them anything. Please promise me you will not send very creative and very funny and very long and very many emails to DEIA, and don't write this down. DEIA truth. Sorry, it's going to be a long night. So let me try to get this out of my system. DEIA truth@opm.gov. Don't do it. Thank you. On March 3rd, 2025, Linda McMahon, aforementioned WWE woman, not CEO. I don't know why I said woman. She's a woman. Was confirmed as education secretary. Yeah, that was a shocker. The former wrestling executive and ally of Donald's, of course, was confirmed by the Senate 51-45, which means either two Republicans didn't show up or they thought better of it. Yeah, they probably didn't show up. And this is despite deep concerns over her lack of experience in education policy. McMahon previously led the Small Business Administration during Donald's first term. Play the clip.
In a post on X, McMahon says she intends to make good on President Trump's promises to make America education the best in the world, return education to the states, and free students from bureaucracy through school choice. Just last month, Trump tasked McMahon with shutting down the DOE entirely.
I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education department.
Yes. Let's do that. Let's do away the Department of Education. That is, I think, the most efficient way to make American education great again, considering what great again means now. The Trump regime has gutted the Institute of Education Sciences, which tracks academic progress. They've canceled contracts under Elon Musk's Doge, raising concerns about the erasure of federal oversight in education. Raising concerns. Jesus Christ. Just be concerned. What are you waiting for? The Department of Education controls a very tiny percentage of things. No, it's 14% of public school budgets and manages $1.6 trillion in federal student loan portfolios. With McMahon at the helm, funding for programs like Title I and Pell Grants could be slashed, disproportionately impacting low-income students in public schools. Yes, they are gunning for a permanent underclass in this country. And let us not kid ourselves. It's already time to be concerned. It is long past time. And if you don't like any of this, nor should you, don't bother to protest at your university. Why? Because Donald posted this threat yesterday on his failing social media platform. Quote, all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators, also in, the sane world known as peaceful protesters, will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Unquote. What? Okay. The mask. No masks. I didn't realize we were talking about masks. I thought we were talking about the entire dismantling of the First Amendment, except, of course, for the freedom to exercise your Christianity. I say this often because it's true. We have no right to be surprised by any of this. None of it. All of this was very clear. Why was it very clear? Well, one, because we should know that this is the kind of horrific plan that Donald would be stewing on for the last, 4 years. All of his grievances are coming into play here. His just abject inability to grapple with the fact that so many people reject him because he's a loser and he's cruel and he's stupid and he's a traitor and all of the other things that he is. It's payback time. It's payback time. Also, he hates poor people. He hates women. He hates black people. He hates immigrants. He hates anybody who's not a white rich guy, basically. All of that having been said, however, watching it happen, seeing it, knowing that how many people are going to get hurt, even the people who voted for him are going to get grievously harmed by all of this. Knowing that the most vulnerable among us will, as always, be harmed the most and the worst. It lands very differently from just thinking about when it's all going to happen. So, again, just a reminder, we will be live streaming Donald's remarks in front of a joint session of Congress. This is not a State of the Union. Those only happen in years 2, 3, and 4 of a regime. This is just his remarks to talk about how great he is, because nobody else will. Oh, yeah, except for Howard Lutnick. That's what he's really secretary of. So we're kicking it off at 8:45 to pregame, and then we will stay on afterwards to debrief everybody. But I think for the time being, we've all earned our emotional support moment. What you're going to meet right now is Tula 2, who's at the Oregon Zoo. I know I say that wrong. I apologize. Who's born on February 2nd. The elephant curator at the zoo says she gives her mom a run for her money, which is exactly what any baby elephant should do. Play the clip. What is this thing on my face? Can you please put that back on? Just like put it on a loop. That's what I actually wasn't kidding. Oh my God. Baby elephants. I mean, baby anything, generally speaking, but baby elephants. All right. As you know, I have a night ahead of me because he could talk for an hour and a half. He could talk for 3 hours. He could never stop talking. I don't know. He could be late because he's so incredibly rude and thoughtless. Anything could happen. So I should probably eat something before then. So I'm going to cut things short a little bit. I do want to thank everybody though. So this is how it's going to go. I'll do my best. Maple Leaf Canadian, thank you so very much. Thank you again. As a Canadian, thank you, Mary, for your support. Merci. I say that horribly. I have a terrible French accent, but you're very, very welcome, and we love Canada. So thank you. Gabriel Merkel, thank you very much. Question: why aren't stronger Dems like AOC Shift not taking more of a pushback stance against this incompetent calamity of an administration? I do not know. I do not know. It is a mystery to me, and it makes me angry. It makes Lyndon angry too, because he's meowing right now. Cindy, super sticker. Thank you so very much. Caroline Williams, another super sticker. Thank you. 6 cents. Amelia, another super sticker. Thanks very much. Thank you. Jalone, super sticker. Gina, another super sticker. Thank you very much for that. It's very generous. Brett, another super sticker. Thank you very much. Michael, thank you. Comment: I paid $9.68 for 3 large hydro tomatoes today. Wow. Hope they're good because that's an expensive tomato. Tiger Claw, super sticker. Thank you so much. Colorado Mountain 1222. Question: could you highly protest you? Pretty please. They make Donald mad. Legacy media neglects or downplays, and our allies think we aren't showing up. Yes, as they occur, we absolutely will. Thank you for reminding me. It's it's been one of those weeks, and it's Tuesday. California Cat Whisperer, super sticker. Thank you so much. Just ID, a Canadian. Thank you, and I'm sorry. Another super sticker. Gail, thank you. Very generous of you. Appreciated. Kenneth, thank you so much. Another Canadian. My apologies, but thank you. We stand with Canada always. Wellness, thank you very much. Comment: the average IQ in America has dropped from 100 to 98. Are you surprised? No, I'm not surprised. But with the bell curve, it's kind of hard to judge that kind of thing. But no, I mean, we're definitely getting less intelligent, less, more ignorant. Anyway, I don't know if that's an IQ thing, but anyway, conversation for another time. D, thank you very much. Comment: I've turned my back on friends and family, so it's the least Dems could do for us. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. NPM, you guys keep me caring. So happy to do that because we all have to care. And especially when it's hard and especially when it hurts. And I apologize for that. Suki 56, thank you very much. It's very generous of you. I asked my congressperson either to not go see Donald or when he starts talking, walk out or turn it back to him just saying executive order. Did he ask Paul Bunyan about the trees? He doesn't know who Paul Bunyan is, but if he did, he would ask him even though he's either fictional or dead. I can't remember which one. Colleague, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Question: will be abstaining for Lent. It's not a question. Comment: will be abstaining for Lent. Need some spiritual hope. Keep up the fight, Mary. See you later. Do whatever you guys have to do to keep yourselves sane and healthy. But keep coming back here because we try to keep it light when possible. Mariana, super sticker. Thank you as always. Very kind of you. Suki 56, thank you again. Comment: you should split the minerals with NATO and leave the U.S. out. Ukraine keeps 50%. Donald doesn't need minerals. Just saying. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's very frustrating. Joan, super sticker. Thank you. Douglas, also super sticker. Thank you very much. Uneffing believable. Thank you very much. Comment: Pol Pot also love the poorly educated. Yeah, they all do, don't they? Wonder why. Maybe because an educated electorate is, important, vital for strong democracy. Perhaps that has something to do with it. Lee, super sticker. Thank you very much. Suki, thank you again. My goodness. Question: when Donald comes on, do we turn our backs to the TV? Just saying, yeah, do it. Do it. Who knows? It might cause a rift in the space-time continuum. We need to do whatever we can. And if it makes you feel good, absolutely. I'm going to be doing that a lot. Probably. Definitely. Jacqueline, super sticker. Thank you very much. Stephanie, thank you. Maxine, comment. Thank you first. Thank you very much. Comment, keep it going. Sorry, hang on. Keep it going. We needed this. Great. I'm very happy. We're very happy to be here. Unfucking believable again. Comment, send your empty milk cartons full of powdered mashed potatoes. Just a suggestion. Yeah, I have ideas about that too. Deb, comment, while you wait for Mary and the Nerds at 8:45, please do not spam. Again, good. Thank you, Deb, for the reminder. Do not, I beg you, do not spam. I don't have a pencil or a pen or a typey thing in your hands right now to write this down. DEIA truth at opm.gov. Don't do it. Love my dog's life. Thank you so very much. Question, can you make the orange one sound like Donald Duck during your stream tonight? No. We tried. We tried. We tried. But either the technology doesn't exist or we couldn't find it. We definitely tried. Just so you don't think we're falling down on the job and subjecting you to that if we could have prevented it. Super Sticker Goldie, thank you so much. KM, thank you. Very generous of you. Comment, wish major TV news would broadcast protests as well, but then President Musk would probably shut them down. Yeah, he probably would. Yeah, but they never have. It's just, that's why they need to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more frequent until they're constant. Right? We are going to need to shut everything down. Everything. Without exception. Digital AI, Super Sticker, thank you very much. Jana, thank you very much as well. Comment, thanks for all you do. You're welcome. It is an honor to be able to do it. And Jazz Wolf, another Super Sticker, thank you. Okay, guys, that does it for us tonight. Thanks for understanding that I'm ending a little bit early tonight because a long night, most likely ahead of us. And I mean, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. But, we'll make it more fun if you're with us and giving us awesome comments. And also reassuring me that you are not sending spam. Right? You promise me you're not sending spam to DEIA truth at opm.gov. So yes, come tonight and just keep telling me. Actually, what I really want you to do, because obviously I'm being very sarcastic and not subtle about it at all, in the comments tonight, I want you to tell me what emails you sent to DEIA truth at opm.gov, because that'll help me not want to pound nails in the back of my hand while listening to the traitor. All right. So thanks to everybody watching on YouTube, the dwindling number of people streaming on Twitter. Can't imagine why. Has nothing to do with somebody over there kind of hating my guts at all. I promise you. Everybody listening to the podcast, we really appreciate that. For all of your incredible comments, all the Super Stickers, everybody throw gifts at us. I promise you, the money goes to very, very worthy efforts. So, you guys help just keep us going, which is incredible. And we are so grateful to you, to our moderators who continue to do a phenomenal job. And of course, to my absolutely exceptional team who seems to outdo themselves every day under extraordinarily trying circumstances. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. I will see all of you tonight at 8:45, which is soon. It's very soon. And back tomorrow for Marriage Up Live at 6 p.m. Eastern. Lots of videos continue to drop. So please subscribe, click on the bell icon, and then you can choose to be alerted every time a new video drops. And I highly recommend you do that. And I will be very appreciative if you do that. Also, like and share the videos because all of that helps us tremendously. All right. So in the meantime, everybody, please stay safe and be kind. Thanks.